Jim, you and I have both been around long enough and paying taxes long enough to remember when the highest marginal tax rate was 70% in the in the 1960s, 1970s. Came down to 50% in the 80s, and then down, and then for the last 25 years, it's been in the sort of 35 to 40% range. We've had big debates, big battles in Congress over tax policy, but it's all been within a pretty narrow range. Now some progressive Democrats are talking about sort of blowing up that consensus, taking the top rate for very high earners back to 70%.
And I think that's a wonderful idea for them. Soak these richies up in their penthouses and their limousines. With what they're making, the 30% that they keep is still more than you and I could ever dream of.
Well, would it really soak them? That's the question. I mean, you've got to realize the wealthy have a lot of tax management tools at their
Well, they're using those anyway. Even at 39%, they just use them more.
History shows that they use them more, including putting money offshore and so on when it goes as high as 70%.
Well, the argument for really soaking the rich is that if you do that, they will not invest, they will not hire. The wealthy neurosurgeon will take Wednesdays off and somebody will do without his brain surgery. I think that's absolute baloney. What will happen is that they will work a little harder. The neurosurgeon will work a little harder to maintain his after-tax income after you cut a little bit.
I'm not sure you can find that. I mean, it seems like a lot of this is just being done out of jealousy and sort of thinking that we should punish the rich.
Class warfare
rather than sound tax policy. I would rather see us go after loopholes that benefit the rich now. Get them out, make sure that they're really paying that. 37% is the current top rate. Make sure they're really paying that on all their income above the
we could do that, but still we have history here. We had a 70% tax rate back in the 50s and the 60s, and the U.S. economy was actually growing faster then than it is today. GDP was growing faster.
Well,
so apparently
you can't make that comparison though. You can't say that the world conditions are the same today that they were in the 1950s when most of the developed world was in ruins and rebuilding, and we had the baby boom. Demographics were kind of pushing the.
But on the other hand, you can't look at that. You can't look at that history and say that a 70% tax rate would hurt investment or hurt the economy either. So why not just?
Well, but you can say that going from 37% to 70% would be a big shock. And
it would be a big shock,
adjustment.
And it's not going to happen.
I don't think it's one we need to undergo. If we want to get more revenue out of the wealthy, I mean, sure, you could jack the rate up a little bit as we've done in past Democratic administrations, but primarily, I mean, go after those loopholes. Put a cap on the mortgage interest deduction so it only benefits the middle class, and put a do away with the carried interest thing that a lot of hedge fund managers use. There's a lot of measures you could do that would actually raise revenue, and I favor that along with the 70% right.